Most people name their dogs things like Buddy, Max, or if they're feeling particularly creative, maybe Sir Barks a lot. But one fan decided to name their dog Cece after Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin's response: both are welcome courtside this year. We saw this post, obviously, somebody's dogs. They said their dog was named Cece after Caitlin Clark.
It's a cute, wholesome internet moment, right? Wrong. That dog might have just cost the WNBA Players Association their biggest bargaining chip in history. While the lawyers and union reps are in back rooms threatening to blow up the entire 2026 season unless they get a 700% pay raise, Caitlin Clark hopped on social media and casually dropped 6 words that changed the entire game. Huddle the fan, both are welcome courtside this year. Not hopefully this year, not if we reach an agreement, but a straight-up guarantee. In the world of high-stakes labor negotiations, that's not just a comment, it's a tactical nuke dropped right on the union's head. You have to understand the theater of what's happening right now. The WNBA Players Association is trying to play a game of chicken with a league that's finally making real money. They recently had a strike authorization vote where 97% of the players voted yes. On paper, that sounds like a united front, a league ready to walk into the sunset and leave the arenas empty. But in reality, it's a bluff so thin you could see through it from the nosebleed seats. When a union asks you to authorize a strike, you say yes because you want leverage, not because you actually want to stop receiving paychecks. If you're a role player making $64,000 a year, are you really going to vote against the chance of a massive raise? Of course not. But the moment the face of the league tells the world she's going to be on the court, the nuclear option is officially off the table. The real power in these rooms doesn't actually belong to the people sitting at the table. It belongs to a giant checkmark in Oregon. Nike has more money riding on the 2026 WNBA season than some small countries have in their entire GDP. They've poured tens of millions into Caitlin Clark, and they aren't about to let a labor dispute get in the way of their return on investment. There are reports swirling that Nike is planning to unveil Clark's signature shoe during a Super Bowl commercial. Think about that for a second. A Super Bowl ad costs roughly $7 million just for the 30 seconds of airtime, not even counting the production. Do you honestly think a corporate titan like Nike is going to drop that kind of cash to promote a player who might be sitting on her couch in a jersey because of a strike? Not a chance. Nike knows the season is happening because in many ways they are the ones making sure it does, but the union keeps pretending they have a backup plan. They point to leagues like Unrivaled and say, look, we can play elsewhere. We don't need the WNBA. But let's look at the cold, hard numbers. Unrivaled just finished a stretch where they were averaging around 30,000 viewers per game. That sounds okay until you realize that when their biggest star, Paige Buchers, isn't on the court, those numbers crater to less than 1,000. You can't pay for a private jet and 5-star hotels with 1,000 viewers. The WNBA is selling out NBA-sized arenas. They are breaking every viewership record in the book. The idea that a glorified pickup league in a Miami warehouse is a viable alternative to the WNBA is frankly a total delusion. The players know it, the league knows it, and Caitlin Clark's social media manager definitely knows it. It's not just Clark either. Angel Reese has been out here talking about her goals for the upcoming season, her plans for the Chicago Sky, and her path to the playoffs. She isn't talking like someone who's planning to be on a picket line in May, she's talking like someone who has a schedule and a job to do. When the 2 most influential young stars in the sport are publicly acting like the season is a done deal, the union's threat becomes a punchline. It's like trying to hold a bank hostage when the getaway driver already called the cops to tell them where the money is. The leverage is gone. The bluff has been called. And let's be real about what the struggle is actually about. We're talking about a 700% increase in pay. The players are going to get paid. The league is flush with cash from new media deals, and everyone wants a piece of the pie. The negotiations aren't really about whether there will be a season. They're about exactly how many zeros will be on the checks. The union has to act tough because that's their job, but the stars of the show have already moved on to the next chapter. They know that missing even a single week of the 2026 season would be the biggest unforced error in the history of women's sports. The momentum is at an all-time high, and you don't stop a runaway train just to argue about the color of the seats. What we're seeing is a shift in how sports power works. It used to be about the collective, but now it's about the brand. Caitlin Clark is a billion-dollar business all by herself. Paige Buchers hasn't even stepped onto a WNBA court yet, and she's already one of the most powerful figures in the league's ecosystem. These women aren't just players, they're stakeholders. And stakeholders don't go on strike when the business is finally booming. They show up, they perform, and they collect their dividends. The Union might be holding a pair of threes, but the Stars are holding the entire deck. So when you see the headlines about tensions rising or potential lockouts, just remember the dog named CC. Remember the Nike commercials scheduled for the biggest TV event of the year. Remember that the people who actually move the needle have already confirmed their attendance. The 2026 season isn't just a possibility, it's an absolute certainty. The records are going to fall, the arenas are going to be packed, and the biggest rule in sports labor that was supposedly broken was really just a reality check for a union that forgot who the fans are actually paying to see. The cards are on the table, the season is booked, and honestly, I can't wait to see that dog courtside. This whole situation gets even more intense when you look at the paper trail left by the corporate giants who actually own the airwaves. We aren't just talking about a few $1 million anymore, we're talking about a landmark $2.2 billion media rights deal. Starting in 2026, the WNBA is moving to a massive 11-year partnership with Disney, Amazon, and NBC's new sports division, Versant. This isn't just about putting games on TV, it's about a $200 million annual check that the league is finally cashing. These broadcasters didn't sign that contract to wait around and see if a union feels like playing. Amazon is planning to stream games globally to over 200 million Prime members, and NBC is carving out a dedicated primetime window every Wednesday night. These companies have schedules to fill and advertisers to satisfy. When you have that much institutional weight leaning on a league, a strike isn't just a labor dispute, it's a breach of contract with the most powerful media entities on the planet. And if you want to know why the players are pushing so hard, you have to look at the math that's currently causing a stalemate in the boardroom. Right now, the league and the union are arguing over two very different versions of fairness. The league just put a proposal on the table that would make the maximum base salary $1 million. That's a massive jump from the current $250,000 cap. They're also promising that the average salary will skyrocket to over $500,000. But here's the catch. The 70% revenue sharing the league is offering is based on net revenue. In corporate speak, net means whatever is left over after they pay for charter flights, five-star hotels, security, and stadium upgrades. The players know that if they agree to a net deal, the league can just spend all the profit on expenses and leave the players with nothing. That's why the union is demanding 30% of gross revenue, the total money coming in before anyone touches a cent. It's a high-stakes poker game, but as we've seen, the stars of the league are already acting like the pot has been split. While the lawyers are arguing over decimals, Nike is busy filming the most expensive commercial in the history of women's sports. The From Anywhere campaign isn't just a rumor, it's a full-scale cultural blitz. They've recruited Travis Scott and the Kelsey brothers to stand alongside Caitlin Clark in a Super Bowl-caliber production. This isn't just about selling a signature shoe, it's about positioning the WNBA as a lifestyle brand that can compete with the biggest streetwear labels in the world. Nike has invested $28 million into Clark alone, and they are timing her shoe release to coincide exactly with the start of the 2026 season. If there were even a 5% chance of a lockout, Nike would be pivoting their marketing dollars toward the NBA or international soccer. Instead, they are doubling down, buying up the most expensive ad slots on television, and betting the farm that the Clark effect will carry them through the next decade. The union's biggest problem right now is that their alternative options are currently falling flat. For months, we've heard that players could just go play in the Unrivaled League if they didn't get what they wanted from the WNBA. But the ratings for Unrivaled's second season just came in, and they are, quite frankly, a disaster. Viewership has cratered by nearly 50% compared to last year. When the stakes are just a 3-on-3 exhibition in a warehouse, fans aren't tuning in. They want the history of the New York Liberty, the dominance of the Las Vegas Aces, and the rivalries that only exist in a professional league setting. This ratings drop has completely stripped the union of their "we can go elsewhere" leverage. If the players walk away from the WNBA, they aren't walking toward another payday. They are walking into a viewership ghost town. The pressure isn't just coming from the players or the sponsors either. It's coming from the cities themselves. The 2026 season is supposed to be the year of expansion. The Golden State Valkyries are set to make their debut, and the league is in the middle of preparing expansion drafts for Toronto and Portland. But as of mid-January, everything is frozen. There's an official moratorium on all league business. Free agency is on pause. The expansion drafts are delayed, and teams can't even sign their own veterans because nobody knows what the salary cap will be. This status quo period is a ticking time bomb. The league can't grow, the new franchises can't build rosters, and the fans are left in limbo. This kind of paralysis can only last so long before the financial loss becomes too great for both sides to ignore. Look at the Las Vegas Aces roster for a second. Almost their entire core, Aja Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, are currently unrestricted free agents. They are literally the greatest team in modern history, and on paper they don't even have a team right now. They are waiting for the ink to dry on a new deal so they can secure their futures. These veterans aren't looking to miss a year of their prime for a strike that might only net them a few extra percentage points. They want to get back to the court, keep winning rings, and capitalize on the massive endorsement deals that only come when you're playing on national television. When the legends of the game and the rising stars are both signaling that they're ready to play, the Union's threat starts to look more like a desperate cry for attention than a viable strategy. In the end, this isn't a story about a broken league. It's a story about a league that has grown too big for its old rules. The WNBA is no longer a small niche organization fighting for scraps. It's a multi-billion-dollar juggernaut that is currently experiencing the growing pains of success. The 2026 season is going to happen because it simply has to. The momentum is too strong, the money is too big, and the stars are too smart to let it fail. Caitlin Clark didn't just break the rules of labor negotiations. She reminded everyone that at the end of the day, the game is bigger than the boardroom. The deal will get done, the CC dog will get its courtside seat, and we are about to witness the greatest season in the history of the sport. The only thing left to do is sit back and watch as the rest of the world finally catches up to what the stars already know.